this and a few other things on my laptop here to make it work.
Yeah, and I've got my stand on a deck of hypnotic language shortcut system cards from Ewar,
Nice.
and a mini speaker that I was awarded for doing some extra work for the Teachers Federation. So
Nice. Nice. I must admit, I was supposed to be more prepared, but I'm not. A Mirror on TikTok says, "Hi Grant, love your T-shirt. What's the monkey called?" We didn't get a name for the monkey, but somebody did send me a message because I put a post out to name the monkey, and someone said I should call it Jimothy, which is like Timothy but Jimothy. And apparently in the US of A, there is a Jimothy, which is something else, but it was in a nod to Jim. So yeah, so I'm thinking it Jimothy is what the monkey's called.
oh, interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
but we'll
So
call him Jim for short.
exactly, exactly. Yeah.
You know what? I'm looking at that graphic that we have for Michigan, and it's got a certain person's name on it.
Yes, that was quite funny as well.
So Dan said, because Brian is such a nice guy, go ahead and use it. So,
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Brian is a good guy. Are we meeting with Brian after this?
yep,
Yay,
yep. And if not, then it'll just be you and me.
yay.
We'll just switch from coffee to tea.
Exactly, exactly.
That's the way it works. That's the way it works.
Yep, yep. Cool. So yeah, the big news this week, I suppose, has got to be the news of Hypno Thoughts in Vegas.
Yes. Um, Hypno Thoughts no longer in Vegas.
Oh, so yes, Hypno Thoughts formerly in Vegas.
Yes, formerly of the Sahara Hotel, formerly of the Orleans Hotel, uh, now moving to Atlanta, Georgia, at a new
Yes.
time even. So not
Well,
you're not going to hit Atlanta in the summer. You're going to hit
mhm.
Atlanta in early November.
Interesting. I've never been to Atlanta. In fact, I think I've flown into the airport and had a changeover, but I've never been to Atlanta in Georgia. So that'll be an interesting, a new fridge magnet for me, I think.
Is that like Dan collecting all the collectibles that he does in Vegas while we're there? It's like I think it wasn't like M&Ms or something like that that
M&Ms, yeah. That's the
he
only,
was.
it's the only way to get done to get to Vegas is we promise him that he can spend the afternoon at the M&M store.
Well, it's not a bad place to be. I mean, the only better place that I could think of would be like a Lego store.
Yes, yes,
That would be cool. That would be an interesting outing. What would hypnotists actually build
yes.
if we were in a Lego store for an hour or two?
It lets you know the difference of characters, especially involved in PHS. So, like Dan, very much about the M&M store. Yourself, very much about the Lego store. Me, I think I'm more of a Treasures Gentlemen's Club type of of all the places in Vegas. Yeah. No, do
Yeah.
you know what? There is something for everybody in Vegas. That's what makes it a really great place. But
Yep.
Atlanta, I'm sure, has amazing places as well.
Well, yeah, I was doing a little bit of research about Atlanta and some of the sites and things that were actually going on. I know during HypnoThoughts next year in November 2027, they will be having various concerts and a few other things that are already scheduled and on the books for Atlanta. So the music scene is there. You would get a lot of different cuisine.
Mm,
It would be more of a southern cuisine, and you know, definitely you would hear a different accent.
yeah. I'm looking
So
forward to it. And Hypno Thoughts has been in Vegas for so long, and so I think yeah, it'll be an interesting move. So really excited for that as well.
yeah, the
Um,
really cool thing is if you want to attend HypnoThoughts, and again, Grant and I have said this I don't know how many times. It is the biggest conference. There is no question about it. You can find all kinds of people to meet up with, to learn from, to network with, whatever it is that you're going to the conference for. You have until Monday to get early bird pricing on tickets.
Yes.
and after that, the price goes up. So
A shout out to
if
Gareth.
you are even thinking about it, I can
Yes.
guarantee you this: buy the tickets. If you something happens and you don't get to go, somebody will snap those tickets up for you from you.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, shout out to Gareth from TikTok says, look at me joining TikTok looking for mature blondes with questionable morals and you pop up. There we go. Gareth Boot, by the way, for those that don't know him and don't follow him, fantastic business coach as well. So I know he coaches and mentors some hypnotherapists, although he's not a hypnotherapist himself, but a great business coach. So Gareth, good to see you. But we are due a coffee very soon, actually. So yes, Hypno Thoughts, yeah, going to be fantastic. The next big conference coming up for us though has got to be Michigan.
The next big conference is coming up in. I'm trying to think if there's anything in August that I can remember. Mid America used to be in August, but I think it's moved to
Mm,
October now. Or yeah, it's in October. So yes, the next big conference is Michigan in September.
yes, and is it? It's
Uh,
fifth.
you there?
Yep, I'm there. Can you hear me, Sean?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So it says 5 years on the graphic. So is this its fifth year now?
It is. Yep.
Wow. I was
So
seeing the images from that very first one, which was held in Gaylord, Michigan. And that was such a great conference, some real great friendships there. And to see how that's moved from different venues over the years is really, really cool.
yeah, I was working with a client recently, and the it's a Bible verse, but it does speak to beginnings. Do not despise small beginnings.
Yes.
And so yeah, it was a start, and then it evolved. Every year Dan made it that much better and makes it that much better. And so when it comes up to MIHC 2026, it will be just that much better than it was last year.
Yeah. Yeah. I must admit, I always love his raffle prizes that he gives away at this event. And it's one thing to have. A lot of these conferences have like products that they give away from a lot of the speakers. Dan has like real valuable actual products, if you know what I mean. So, roadcaster mixing desks, and microphones, laptops, tablets, all sorts of stuff. And I know a couple of speakers that have started podcasts after this conference just because they've won podcasting equipment. So Amanda does a fantastic podcast now, and she won all the podcasting gear at Dan's conference. So I'm really looking forward to speaking and supporting that as a conference.
Yep. Yeah, and the cool thing about Michigan in September is it's not super hot, it's not super cold. You're just starting to hit the beginning of autumn. So it's a good time to be in a larger city, and Detroit itself has all kinds of history to it. Uh, you
Detroit's
know,
amazing. I really like Detroit. And for those that are going to be there, I'm going to try and get a group of people together. Last year, I was taken, one of the volunteers at the conference invited me to go to an event that she was going to and loved it. So this year, I'm going to try and get a group of people together to go to puppet karaoke, which was exactly what it sounds like, karaoke with puppets. It was the most joy I've ever experienced in a room in my life. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that.
karaoke with puppets. That's a really good spin on a classic, right?
Exactly, exactly. And so you got to be there to know. So yeah, so that is cool. Yeah, and so yeah, it'll be a good one. I know we are trying to get Brian there as well, so that'll be interesting.
Yep. And in a couple of years, I'll get there myself.
Yes, yes, definitely.
And speaking of, in the chat, we've got Brian saying, "Who's that guy?" Well, Brian, if you're experiencing amnesia,
It's the first thing to go, Brian.
And then, of course, we have Jesse Lewis saying hello, gents.
Fantastic. The Jesse Lewis. Really great. A shout out to Aisha. Every week there is a workshop, and again coming up this Tuesday, I believe it's Jesse's business masterclass type of thing. So it's where talk about marketing. Well, I mean, Jesse can put in the comment section where they talk about the marketing and the business side of hypnosis shows. And so one of the great benefits of that this Tuesday just gone, Michael Brody had a great workshop with the members where it was you just kind of share some ideas, and so a big shout out to Aisha for that.
Nice. Yeah, and I really wanted to be there, but then I had a client that changed things last minute and I couldn't make it. So, which is not a bad thing. It's, you're still helping people, but don't underestimate, you know, I think people do actually underestimate this quite a bit, but the notion that you can belong to an organization that actually builds you up.
Yes,
It's an association. Yes. Does it have political clout and everything else? Blah, blah, blah. No, it was never designed to be that. It was designed to be something that brings us together as a profession so we can discuss the issues that affect us and brainstorm on ideas on how to make our profession better, our shows better. Because when we do that, and people take that advice and run with it and things get better, guess what? That gets better for everybody else.
exactly. And to have those Zoom meetings, those workshops, pretty much every week, that in itself is worth the ticket price as such.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. So there we go. A bit of a plug for Aisha there as well. After Michigan is the Canadian Hypnosis Conference.
That is correct. You got it
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. And
Um,
so it was running a while, but it had a break after the pandemic, and then it's back again now. So
yep.
yeah,
So I think technically this is its 11th year. Last year was 10, I'm pretty sure, if I recall
yeah.
correctly. I know Richard Cole is excited about this. He's going to be in Toronto a day early. Tracy, who has been on the Hypnosis Hero podcast a couple of times, and her and I actually met at Hypno Thoughts. She was actually one of the first people that I met at Hypno Thoughts
Oh
uh,
wow,
in 2022, and they're going to be in Toronto. I think Tracy mentioned something about going to the aquarium and to the market and a few other places. So, again, benefit of local knowledge because Tracy lives in the area. She's in around in between Niagara Falls and Mississauga, I think Welland or something, someplace like that. Anyway, long story short, there's always lots to do outside of the conference, but again, when you're there, network with people. If you
yeah.
find some common things that you guys can do, great.
I think that's one of the if you go to these conferences and these events with the sole purpose of building your network, meeting people that you may have known them for years online, but meeting them in person, it just changes everything. And so that kind of connection with people is going to be the thing that makes the difference.
Yeah, and again, that's why we do it. I know there are a few people that say, well, conferences are kind of boring. They're all following the same format. Yeah, but inside of that format, what we're doing is still providing the opportunity for people to connect live
Yeah,
and in person. The one thing that AI can't replace, live and in person.
100%.
And, you know, uh, yeah, we can do all kinds of really cool things with AI and so on and so forth. And I'm a big proponent of it because, hey, that's the other world that I live in. Now, especially in the education world, is how do we now get our teachers ready to work with the students on what they're going to need to know, assuming that we don't know what we should know. You know, so with all of that knowing, there's still even in education a recognition that it's a person to person medium.
Yeah.
You have a teacher who is working with students live and in person to help them get to learn what they need to learn. So
I think that's it. It's the shortcut. It's you find people that are doing the work that you want to do and build that connection with them so you can learn from their mistakes. And again, it's I would not have done the work that I did with Jim if it wasn't for Hypnobiz New York. I'd known Jim for many of years online, but it was meeting him in person that
Yeah.
kind of created that friendship. And then seeing him again at Heartland, where we decided to go into business together. It's those connections happen, from being in the room. So yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I could say the same thing about meeting Jesse for the first time. Uh, and of course meeting Richard and a few others that have played a role in uh, you know getting me going on my journey as well. It would not have happened had we had not met. So
yeah. It's a group of people that have a shared common purpose, and then finding those people, and then just it's building your tribe and helping you succeed, and helping keeping you motivated in the times when you don't want to do the work, when you want to kind of sit back and lull a bit, and then you've got someone that's willing to kind of kick you up the arse a bit and kind of go, no, go and do this. So yeah, yeah.
yeah, 100%.
Hypno- Hypnosis Hero podcast.
Yeah. So of course, Brian and I are on hiatus until our next broadcast, likely coming up in September. Uh, we may even do one in August if we can corner Dan and get him on because we want to be able to give him a kind of a last say of anything else that he wants to promote for the Michigan conference. And here's the thing: we have over 100 and I want to say 115 episodes. I'm sure there's like 118 or something like that, which is over 115, so I'm not wrong. Um,
Yes.
but that's a lot of podcasts, and those are
Yeah.
not hour-long podcasts. Some of those are two. I know the one with Wendy Friesen is like 4 hours long.
Wow.
We just kept going and going. I think Jim actually had to reconnect everything at some point because I'm pretty sure Wendy's in there twice. But and we have people that have been on multiple times, like yourself, Jesse. Uh, um Bob would be another one that would be on there, and we're spending time like a couple of hours
Yeah.
just talking about how we do things, what we do, how do we kind of build the profession up, and sharing what we do for our part. I can recall just recently. Uh, we had a couple of ladies on from Canada, one from BC, Robin Home, and she did the bubble of protection, which was really really cool. And then we had Amanda on, and she said, "Yeah, like we were talking about identity shift, and nobody changes anything without feeling safe enough to do it."
Mm.
So those two kind of mesh together, and then you throw in the Hypno Hick Sean and his library metaphor where we're dealing with everything that a person needs to get rid of. And he was very thorough about it and said even check behind for the books and magazines that fell behind the shelves and sweep that all away. And, all of those have been absolutely bang on and 100%. I've used them all recently. Now, I wouldn't have found that out without the podcast.
Yeah. Exactly. Podcasting is another great thing. Just a quick comment from TikTok. Mirren says, "Hey, do you remember Fiona?" Without sounding like a complete numpty, I know a couple of Fionas, and I remember them both very well. So there's a Fiona from Yorkshire and a Fiona from Scotland. So Mirren, you'll have to let me know which Fiona. Yeah. We've just done Hypno Thoughts live.
Yep.
Fraser Penman.
That's right. This is cool. Based on the movie, obviously, Now You See Me, they
Yeah.
turned it into a live show. I don't know about you, but I know Gabriella Lester. I followed her career for a little while. Magician from Las Vegas herself, absolutely stellar young woman. And now we add a guy like Fraser into the mix to do his thing, and
And
I think it's just a natural progression for Fraser.
yeah,
He's coming off of Britain's Got Talent.
yeah, and he's got such a cool look as well. And so some
Well,
great
he has
stage.
hair, so I mean I can't argue with that.
Yeah. And so I think he'll do really well. So I know he's down there right now. Now I believe that Now You See Me Live is going to be franchised around the world as well. So there may be other hypnotists in other countries. So it's great for the world of hypnosis. So again, it brings it to the forefront, and having Fraser to do that with such a cool look and a cool vibe, I think is great for the world of hypnosis.
Yeah, and you know if anybody knows Fraser, you know there's definitely a backstory with Fraser, and he is working very diligently to keep that story front and center so that people understand. But this didn't come overnight.
Yeah,
I had to overcome some things myself. I had to work for it, and I put in the work, and look at where I am now.
it,
To me, that's the best success story that you can have. Is like the Veni Vidi Vici. I came, I saw, I conquered. Right. Uh,
absolutely.
and I think that's exactly what we can say of Frasier.
Yeah. Just shout out to TikTok as yes, I am looking after myself just about. As if you're about tomorrow for a coffee, I've got some free time tomorrow afternoon before my show tomorrow night. But yeah, it'd be cool. Cool. And it would be remiss of us to not talk about the Performing Hypnosis Summit.
Well, it seems like it's a long way off. It's not.
Oh,
Uh,
no.
we are actually in the midst of creating and finalizing the schedule. We have
Yes.
a few people that we are waiting on some extra information from, but other than that, that schedule is we're gonna work to have it out at least in draft form by August 1st, and then we'll lock it down as we get closer to the time. But a couple things you need to be aware of with the Performing Hypnosis Summit. One, travel. If you are looking at booking travel, we do have some airlines that are offering discounts for people who are traveling, which is really cool. Given the fact the prices are seem to be astronomically increasing with airlines these days, uh, that's one thing. Second thing, we have discounted hotel rooms, and the discount this year is better than it was last year.
Which is,
So
yeah,
that is something else that you will want to take advantage of. We don't have a ton of rooms, but we have rooms. So to get in there, and if it comes to the point where we need to go back to the hotel and say, hey, can you open up more rooms? That's great. That shows that we're growing and things are going in the right direction, which makes it even better for the year after in 2028.
yeah,
So those two things you want to start your investigations on those things because
yeah.
it's going to come quickly. United, Alaska, WestJet, and Delta Airlines.
Thing is, with booking your room as well, you can book your room. I think you can pay for like one night, and then you can secure your booking as such.
Yeah,
And so it's a good way of doing it. And then you kind of go, it's done, and then it's out the way then, and then it's just about kind of planning and budgeting to get yourself in Vegas. And Vegas in January is very different from Vegas in July. Um, for me, the weather is just perfect in January. It's not cold and bleak like it is here in the UK. It's still maybe like a
it
light
was
jacket.
cold like it was here in Canada either.
Oh, that was cold. Canada was cold.
I told you I'm not lying when I say last year, and not that we're telling stories, but I know I had to kind of chastise the group a little bit last year because everybody was saying, "Oh, it's so cold," and I said, "You guys realize I left -52 to come
Yeah,
here."
yeah. Brian says suites are available to contact Brian directly to coordinate. There you go. You see,
There's
cool.
there's there's suites. Are they shared with Brian? Is that?
Maybe
Why we need to coordinate with them?
high roll Brian maybe having a sweet.
We just.
Yeah. The thing
But
is for me,
2027, everybody says time keeps going faster and faster and faster. Well, yeah, it does. But you know what? Before we know it, it will be like August, and then we'll be into September. School will start up. Things will get busy again, and
yeah,
we'll be into December before we know it.
yeah. Also, they got Brian that says refundable deposit of roughly $35 to secure your reservation. Oh, well, that's brilliant. Cool. Yeah, I think that's it from me.
Yep, and I think that's it for me. I think we've covered everything we need to cover. Just to recap, though, if you plan on going to Hypnothoughts and you want the absolute best price on tickets, you have until Monday to get your tickets. Uh,
Yes.
just so definitely look at that. Catch the Hypnosis Hero podcast at your convenience on YouTube. Facebook, of course, gets rid of their video after a month, so it hasn't been on longer than a month since then. But definitely, it is on YouTube. You will be catching us on Spotify and soon to be Apple Podcast and so on and so forth. We have a few things to set up behind the scenes, courtesy of Dan and some of the things he's passed on to me. So we'll get that squared away. And yeah, look forward to, I guess this would be season 6 of the Hypnosis Hero podcast starting
Wow.
in September.
That's fantastic. It's fantastic stuff. And what a great resource for all of that information as well.
Yep. That's the other thing. Yeah. Like there is lots of really good, cool things that people have done over the years.
Yeah. Cool. Weirdly, I was on a live stream this afternoon. I think this is my fourth or fifth live stream today, Sean.
And you're still kicking. That's good.
I'm still thinking just about, and it was so weird because it's the one, every one of them's got its own little end, if you know what I mean. And the one this afternoon is supposed to be, it's all good in the hood. Instead, I signed it off with stay well, be
Take care.
well, and
Stay well. Be awesome.
yeah, take care, stay well, and be awesome. The moment I said it, I'm like, wrong live stream. So yeah, take care, stay well,
And be awesome.
be awesome. Awesome.
We will see you next week, everybody. Have a good week.
Cool. Take care, guys. See you soon.